morning and welcome. This is Dr. Susan, and I welcome you to the Play and Learn series. And today, happy Valentine's Day. We have a little bit of a very lovely little book that I wanted to share with you kids. And it isn't about Valentine's Day, but it's about the underlying reason and the underlying experience that we get from Valentine's Day. I know there's toys and there's stuffed bears and there's flowers and candy and all kinds of things that go along with Valentine's Day for people to show their love for one another. Moms and dads and kids to moms and dads and grandmas and all of that. It all kind of ties together. And the book that I picked for this, and I'll explain my reason behind it after we read the story, but the book is The Magical Cap, and it is by Flavia. And Flavia is a lady that is an artist that creates cards. And we'll read the rest of it when we get into the first page of the book. But it's a cute story, and it's a fun story. I think you kids will like it. But it kind of talks about love. And so I thought you might enjoy that for this morning or any time you happen to view it. All right? So let's get started with that. And then we'll go into the other parts of the book. All right. So here we go with the story. And I wanted to read this because I thought it was really fun to recognize and know. But from his home on the other side of the moon, Father Time summons 8 of his most trusted storytellers to bring a message of hope to all children. Their mission was to spread magical tales throughout the world, the tales that remind us that we all belong to one family, one world, that our hearts speak the same language, no matter where we live or how different we look or sound, and that we each have the right to be loved, to be nurtured, and to reach for our dreams. This is one of those stories. And it says, listen with your heart and share the magic. All right. The magic cat, Flavia Whedon, I believe it is. And Lisa Gilbert is the illustrator. But it's a Flavia Dream Maker story. Once upon a time, a mother and her young son lived in a tiny village near a forest. Although they were very poor, their home was warm and filled with love. Isn't that pretty? The mother worked very hard, sewing for wealthy neighbors, baking bread and pies for their fancy parties, and taking on whatever odd jobs they would give her. But at night, when her work was done, she and her son would sit by the fire, sharing stories and dreams and precious time. The boy didn't have all the toys and playthings that neighbor children had, but he never complained or wanted more because he knew he had something far more valuable. One day, in the midst of a very cold winter, the mother took whatever scraps of thread and yarn she could find and made her son a cap. This will keep you warm when you go outside to gather wood, she said. It's not fancy, but it is made from my heart. The little boy was very pleased with his cap, and he thanked his mother over and over. He knew that she needed a cap. She needed a cap even more than he, but he graciously accepted it because he knew how happy it made her because he loved her so very much. Every time he put the cap on his head, he felt a strange and wonderful feeling come over him. Whatever it was, it made him feel so good inside that he decided that the cap must be magic. Excitedly, he told everyone he knew. One day, he decided to go for a walk in the forest. On his way, he met a farmer who had already heard of the magic cap. After all news like that travels very quickly through the forest. Young man, I will trade you my warm coat for your cap, the farmer said. It is very cold, and my coat will be of much much more use to you than your cap." The boy, although he needed the coat, said, "No, thank you, sir. I would never trade my cap for anything. You see, my mother made it for me." Suddenly the farmer grabbed his cap and put it on his head and began to run away, with the boy running right after him. Then, just as suddenly, the farmer stopped, threw the cap back to the boy, and said, "This cap's not magic. I feel nothing special when I wear it. You foolish boy. It's just an ordinary old cap." The boy caught the cap and quickly put it back on his head. Once more, that wonderful feeling came over him, and he was happy because he knew the magic hadn't gone away. The farmer doesn't understand, he thought to himself. Surely he had made a mistake. This cap of mine, it is magic. He continued to walk through the forest, and by nightfall he found himself beside the king's palace. He saw many guests dressed in their fine clothes going up the stairs to attend the king's ball. One of the guards at the palace door, having heard of the boy's magic cap, quickly rushed him through the door and inside the palace. Once inside, the boy was noticed by the king. When the king saw the boy's cap, he approached the boy and said, "I will trade you my crown for that magic cap." But the boy replied, "I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I cannot trade anything for my cap. You see, my mother made it for me." If you won't trade for my crown," said the king, "then live here in this palace so I might wear your magic cap." But when the boy refused and tried to leave the palace, the king stopped him. The king desperately wanted the cap, and he was used to getting what he wanted. So he quickly ordered a servant to take the cap from the boy. The servant did so, and just as quickly the king placed the cap upon his head. He stood there wearing the cap, but no magical feeling came over him. Embarrassed and angry, the king ordered the boy and the cap thrown out of the palace. "You are a liar and a fraud," he shouted. "There is no magic at all to that cap." Crying, the boy began to run home. He was hurt and confused, and he couldn't understand why no one else could feel the magic in his cap, or why anyone would treat him so unkindly. On his way back through the forest, the boy was approached by a wise old woman who asked him why he was crying. At first, the boy feared that she too would try to take his cap, but her gentle ways convinced him to stop and tell her his story. The old woman listened and understood and smiled tenderly. She took his hands and reassured him that the cap really was magic after all. But the magic existed only for him. That wonderful feeling is love, she said, the kind of love that is known only to giving, gentle hearts. This made the boy think of his mother, and he smiled because he understood what the wise woman was saying. The love in his heart overflowed, and he couldn't wait to be with his mother. He thanked the old woman and ran home, holding tightly to his cap. When at last he arrived at the small cottage, his mother and a neighbor boy were standing outside. He ran up to his mother and threw his arms around her and told her all that had happened. His mother just smiled, just as the old wise woman had. But the neighbor did not. Instead, his neighbor said, "You fool, you fool, you could have been rich for the rest of your life if you traded that plain old cap for the king's crown. Don't you understand? And if you had lived there in a palace with the king, you could have bought 1,000 caps and had all the toys in the world." The boy just looked at his neighbor and said, "But it is you who do not understand. The love I know my mother put into this cap, and when she made it for me, gives me such a good feeling inside. And that's the magic of it all. That is why no one else could feel the magic when they tried to wear the cap. I could never trade it for anything," the boy continued. "Don't you see? I don't need riches, and I don't need to live in a palace. I have a mother who loves me more than anything in the world, and that makes me richer than any king could ever be. As the neighbor walked away, the young man hugged his mother, and she kissed him, and together they walked to the cottage. The little boy and his mother had learned something their hearts already knew, that the giving of love is itself the greatest magic of all. And that night, as they sat there by the fire to exchange stories and dreams, the boy's cap seemed to shimmer like gold. The end, and happy Valentine's Day for a special someone. And I am seeing all of you as that special someone. And we can thank Greg for the great bear. Isn't he cool? All right. So the story wasn't really written specifically for Valentine's Day, but this is a good day to share the story. And I had the idea that I could show you how to create a couple of Valentine's cards that you have with things you have at home, and you can give them to your mom and your dad or brothers and sisters or whomever you want to, instead of having to go to the store and purchase anything. But what I wanted to share with you isn't really about making cards, and it's not really about going out and buying gifts and things like that. But what I did want to share with you was I wanted to tell you that the magic that's in that cap, that's in the story, is also sitting in your house. It's sitting in your bedroom, possibly your living room, possibly your playroom if you have a playroom. It's sitting there, just waiting for you to notice it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you some of the magic that lives at my house. So I brought some of it with me. Yes, it is portable, just like the cap on the little boy's head. All right? So what I wanted to share with you today is that I have things, what we would call just things, you know, it's just items. And anybody that walked in my house and looked at them and say, oh, those are nice or those are cute, but, you know. But to me, the magic in them is what makes them important to me and the reason I keep them. Like I'm sure there's many things in your room that you have that's very special to you, and you don't ever want to get rid of them. You don't want to give them away or throw them away because they look old. You don't want to do that. Some of you may have special stuffed animals that you had when you were little, and you know you were 2 or 3 or 4, and imagine you could be anywhere from 8 to 12 right now. But you still kept them. You may not sleep with them anymore. They may not be a toy you play with, but you have it somewhere special. And my grandson, who is 10, has one of those. He has what he calls Blue Bear. And Blue Bear was a gift to him from his dad. His dad's in the Army. And his dad sent it to him. And he's had it for probably four, maybe going on 5 years. But it's a very special bear to him. And I think it's special, too, because his dad gave it to him to kind of be there for him when his dad was away from home. So that's the magic of that particular bear for my grandson. And so what I brought to share with you is, I'm going to start with the oldest thing that I have, not really old, but this particular doll that I brought with me is a little doll that's made on a hanger. You know that you hang your clothes on? I'm going to put her down here so you can see her. She's white, but she looks kind of dirty gray right now because she's old. I got her when I was 16. I'm now almost 73, so you can do your math and figure out how old the doll is, okay? But my mother ordered this for me because I love dolls. And she was made on a hanger, which makes her very different and very special. And she sits in my china cabinet that I have at home. But she's just super special to me because my mom gave her to me. She's very dusty, not dusty, but some of the lace on her little top thing here is worn away and torn. But that doesn't make her any less special and any less magical to me. Because when I see this, I see my mom and I see, because this was a special made doll, it wasn't one she purchased at a store, from a lady that made these. And I see the lady that made them, that made it, and the time and effort and energy and the love she put into what she was doing because she loved doing it. So you kind of got double love there. I got the love from my mom, and the love the lady that made it for me specifically is in here too. So she's very special, and she sits in my china cabinet because I don't want her to get any dustier or browner than she already is. She used to be Snow White, but she's not anymore. But like I said, that doesn't make her any less special. All right? So this is my Snow White doll. So I'm going to put her here on the table, and she can watch us with the rest of the things that we're going to do here. The other things that I brought is in this little bag, and this was something that my husband gave me when we got married, and that was 49 years ago, quite a while ago. And it's a charm bracelet that he had made for me, and it has on it, I don't know whether you can see it, I'll lay it down here. It has a painting palette because I love to paint, and it also has a little Santa Claus from our first Christmas, and we went to a couple of places that we went that he bought charms for me. And this one here says My Little Angel. But this is I've had this since 1971, so I've had that for a very long time too. And that's very special to me. I don't use it all, wear it all the time, but on special occasions that I do. But it has magic in it too. It has that magic of all the love we shared and all the places we went together and all the things that we did as a married couple. He passed away about almost 11 years ago. So this is very special to me, and it reminds me of that, and it has his love and energy in it that I still receive from it when I take it out and I look at it and I hold it and when I wear it. So that's another one of the things that I brought to share with you, just about explaining where the magic is in things and the importance and the love, and that's what's in that too. Then the other two things that I brought, I'm going to do this one first. This is a cup that my daughter, Brandy, made for her dad for Valentine's Day, not Valentine's Day, for Father's Day. She made this when she was in the 3rd grade, and she's 40 now. So that tells you how old this cup is. So she made that, and when I look at that, it's cute, and it's creative, and it shows where she was when she was in the 3rd grade, when she made this special cup. So there's that. And the magic of this is the memories that it creates of when she was still little and going to school like you guys are doing right now. And if you have the chance, I'm sure you've made things like this and given stuff to your mom and your dad and your grandparents. But what you did, you didn't just give a present. You gave you. You gave the magic of who you are that's encompassed in the gift. And then that's what makes it magical. That's what makes it so loving and so special. And sometimes we wonder why Mom has all that stuff. Well, when you're growing up, you do a lot of stuff when you're in school, and if you're in sports and you're doing all those other things. Those things are so important, and that adds the magic of your growing up years. And that's why your mom keeps all that stuff. That's why I keep it. That's why grandmas keep it. It's special, it's magic, and it holds so many memories and brings all those pictures right back to your head. You know, because you could probably remember when you did something special that you can close your eyes and still see yourself doing it because of the experience you had and the memories and the meaning that came to you. So this she made Brandy made this one too. This is a cup that she made, and it was again for her dad. She made this in 1987. So there's also another thing, and I keep it because it brings back such beautiful memories, and there's just so much love contained in it when she was doing it, and the purpose she did it for. So you might see those kinds of things, or you've done those things and give them to your parents, and give them to your grandparents, and things like that. So those are the things that I brought that I wanted to share with you. And then I wanted to show you how you can make a really quick a Valentine card if you want to do something special, or give some special words to your mom or dad or your brothers, sisters, or your grandparents. I know it's Valentine's Day. You can still put it in the mail and they'll get it, and it'll mean so much to them, even though they don't get it on the specific day. Okay? So here's what I did for this one. And I used red cardstock and a piece of gold paper that I had. And it's a half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper I folded in half. And then I did the same thing with this one. And then I just trimmed the edges just a little bit so that we got where it's off center here and off center here so you can see the red. So that's what I did with that. And then I just folded it together like that. And just folded it together like that. And seeing that I didn't have a stapler, and when we don't have things we need to make something, we think of something else to fix it with. So that's what I did. So I have what they call a long neck stapler that would reach up to here, and we could put a staple here and that would hold the card together. But I don't have it on hand, so what can I do instead? So what I did instead, and so that's step one right there. Actually step two, because you folded paper. And so what I did here is I went ahead and I cut out a red heart. Right here, you can see it where it sticks out. And I put glue down the center, and I glued this side, say it like that, this side of the card. You can see it without it. So I glued the heart right across here, and that holds it to this side instead of using a stapler or tape. Tape wouldn't hold it the right way. And then I repeated the same thing on the other side. So it adds more decoration to your card and kind of makes it two-dimensional. So that makes it kind of cool too. So then you can write in your card whatever you'd like to say for Valentine's Day. So I did that. Now the hearts, where's my other piece of paper? Oh, here it is. How I made the heart is I just folded the paper, the red, this is another half of the red paper. I folded it in half longwise, like that. This is an easy way to make a heart. You make like a question mark. So you just come around like this, big bump at the top, and the point at the bottom. I think you can see that. I think I'll go over it with one of the black pens so that you get a better view of what the heart looks like once you do that. Let me get a dark pen. Here we go. So I'll do that. That way you can see it better. So we just go over it like this, just like that. Oops. So now you can see that. Just on one side. Then you take your scissors and you cut it out. And just go around. But it's like a question mark, an exaggerated question mark. And there's your heart, just like that. So you cut two of those out, you cut it twice, and then move this over here. Then you take this, here's the one I was working on, and you lay this, your first side of your center part of your card, and I just used glue, put a little bit on a paintbrush, and I just put glue on the back, just down the center. You don't have to glue it all over, but just down the center, just like that. And so if you didn't go to the store, or you don't have funds laying around to run around and go get a card, honestly, this means more to moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and stuff that you actually made it yourself. And again, it doesn't have to be a heart. It could just be a circle. It doesn't have to be. So then you fold, and then the heart sits up a little bit. And then you flip it over, turn the center part of your card over, and you repeat the process. So because I've done the heart so many times, I really don't have to write it down. I just look at the paper and cut it. But I've just had a lot of practice. If you didn't have a lot of practice, you could draw the lines. Okay? So now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And just put the glue down the center, just like that. There we go. And put that on this side. Just lay it right on the fold. So we're getting glue on both sides of the heart. press it with your fingers, just like that. There. And close it. Fold it again with your fingers. Now we have, there's a heart there, and you can write on it or draw a picture, or if you have like flower stickers or something like that. I did bring some little heart stickers with me, so foam stickers, so I'm going to pull one of them off like that. Now it's stuck to my finger. There we go. And I think I'll stick that right in the middle too, because that's really jazzy. So there's sparkle on one side. I don't think I'll sparkle the other side. And on the inside, I just brought a bunch of these little hearts. Here's a pretty white one. Let's put that on the front because that really shows up. So if you have stickers, you can use your stickers. Or you have crayons and markers and things like that. You can make little hearts all over the place if you want to. So I'm going to put that heart there. And I think I'll embellish it with, I have a gold pen. And I'll just put some well, that doesn't show. Guess we're not using that one. So I'm not sure what's going to show up on this red. We'll try different things. This is pink. Well, pink shows up okay. And I just want to make little not sparkly, but lines that say love. Just like that. There. So there we've got that. And then I also have my white, I think I have white. Yes, here's white. That's the, this is an oil pen. And I'll write happy. It's happy. And then Valentine's Day. Oops. There. The Happy Valentine's Day on that side. They're easy to do. And if you just have 4 pieces of paper, you can do that. And you can make designs on the inside and write on that side. Or pictures. You can make pictures, draw pictures. So that's a quick way of making a Valentine's card at home. So if you haven't made one yet, and you'd like to give one to your mom or dad for at dinner time, you can do that. So that's the Valentine's thing right there. And remember and think about all of the wonderful things that you have that you keep and you look at. And when you look at it, you just get this warm feeling, just like the little boy when he put the cap on his head, because his mom took the scraps and the yarn and cut it out and sewed it together and made it specifically for him. And I'm sure that each stitch that she put in there, she was thinking about him when she was making that. So those are the kind of things that you can do, as I know that when my daughter Brandy made her cups, she was thinking about her dad when she did the decorating. When she decorated these cups and put these little hearts. Looks like little hearts running across on a path with legs. It's cute. But that she did that. And she created that. And I'm sure she was thinking about her dad every time she picked a new color and decided what to put on the inside of the cup. That was what was important to her, and that was the love she was creating and the magic she was creating in that cup. And what I get from that is that I have this in my china cabinet, and when I see it, guess what I think of? I think of Brandy, I think of her dad, and I think of the fun they had together and all the different things that they did together. So that's the magic. And the magic is the love that you create from who you are and the gift you want to give to someone else. So I hope you enjoyed the story. It's a great story. And the little hints on how to make a Valentine card for at home. You don't have to just use this for Valentine's Day. You can just make this. You can do birthday cards or just a hello card. It doesn't have to be for a specific reason. Just because I love you. You can make cards like that. And that makes lots of magic for your mom and dad and for your grandparents and your aunts and uncles, just your family, and maybe even just your friends. That would be magical to them too. So that's some of the things that you can do. I'll put the card down here so you can see it. So, and then, and I wanted to share my doll with you because how important she is to me. And because she was a gift from my mom, and a friend that my mom had that made it for me. So when you have something that's important to you and you see it and you get a feeling from it, when you look at it or you wear it or whatever it happens to be, or you play with it, you recognize and know that it took a variety of people to put that together to give you that feeling. So I wanted to wish you a very happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And just remember, you're always loved, and the love you are is the love you give. Thanks very much, and look forward to seeing you again the next time. Take care.